世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Floyd.
And my name is Thelma. Each month, we provide practical knowledge for daily living and important information about disaster prevention.
This program is for English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area and is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month, we'll be talking about payphones.
And our guest is David Horley, an Australian who now lives in Nishinomiya.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。Hello, Floyd. How are you enjoying our fine June weather?
Oh, hi, Thelma. Well, I'm already finding it's a bit too warm, and I'm really dreading the mushy Atsui summer weather that'll be coming along soon.
Yeah, and we should get out and enjoy these milder days while we still can. So what's our topic this month?
Something really good. Payphones.
Payphones? Isn't there something more interesting we could talk about?
You're kidding? After this, I guarantee you'll be a payphone otaku.
I doubt it, but we might as well get started.
Okay, so first of all, do you know what phones I'm even talking about?
Of course, those big green boxy things, right?
Yep.
With lots of buttons that are usually located around stations, parks, and school. I never use them, and I used to see them everywhere, but I don't see them so much anymore.
Yeah, that's right. In the mid-'80s, there were almost 1 million payphones throughout Japan. Now, with home and mobile phones so common, there's just over 100,000 of them left.
I guess. Well, in a few more years, there won't be any left at all, right?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Payphones are beginning to make a comeback.
Why is that?
Well, one of the main reasons is because of disasters and other emergencies. Payphones can still be used even during a power outage when many phones, like home phones, stop working and mobile networks are overwhelmed or damaged.
And you won't be able to recharge your mobile phone if there's no power.
Yeah, that's right. And you can use any public payphone to make free emergency calls.
I know those numbers.
Okay.
For the police, you can call 110, and for an ambulance or fire department, you can call 119.
Yeah, and you can also use the disaster message board system by calling 171.
You know, most young people have never used a public phone. Perhaps we should go over some simple instructions on how to use them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a 3-step process they like to call pick up, put in, punch in.
That sounds kind of catchy. Yeah, like something from a marketing department.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like, doesn't it? Anyway, let's go through them one at a time.
Okay.
Okay, first one, pick up the phone receiver. That's pretty simple. Step 2 is put in the money. Now, if you put the receiver to your ear after inserting the coins, you should hear a dial tone, and this means the phone is ready to make a call. And step 3, punch in the telephone number. That is, you push the buttons to get the number.
Okay, that sounds simple, but you have to put in coins, right?
Yeah, I mean, even in today's cashless world, public payphones will still take 10 and 100 yen coins. But you can also use prepaid telephone cards.
Well, that sounds more convenient than carrying around a bunch of coins.
Yeah.
Well, how much does it cost to make a call from a payphone anyway?
Well, a local call costs 10 yen for about 10 to 20 seconds. So it's a good idea to have some extra coins ready so your call doesn't get cut off.
How do you know when you need to add more coins before getting cut off?
Well, you'll hear a buzzing sound in the receiver.
Well, what if I only make a short call, but I put in more money than necessary?
Well, that's a good question. Any extra coins that weren't used for the call will be returned when you hang up the phone. However, when using 100 yen coins, you might not get the full amount returned.
Okay, so during an emergency, would I use a payphone exactly the same way?
Yeah, exactly, except you don't need to put in any money. You just pick up and punch in, as they say. Now, emergency calls to the police, ambulance, fire, or the disaster message board are all free.
That's cool. Now I get the importance of public payphones and want to try one so I know how to use it.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And, what you should do is go out and make a note of where the payphones are located in your area. It'll come in handy when you really need one during an emergency.
I have a good idea, Floyd. After we finish here, let's go around the neighborhood looking for all the closest payphones.
Yeah, okay. You're starting to sound like a public payphone otaku.
Yeah, maybe. But it's always good to be prepared in case of emergency or disaster.
That's right. And we'd like to welcome David Horley back with the second half of our interview. We started last month.
Thanks for having me back.
No, last month I think we left off. You were working in Osaka with a big company driving a really beautiful car. Sounds like. So you were there for like a year and a half.
That's correct.
And then what happened after that?
Well, that's where things took a big turn for me.
All right.
I started to develop a small cleaning company. Primarily using power washing techniques to clean driveways and walls. And I wanted to get into that business. But knowing full well that the winter time here in Japan is quite dormant,
yes.
businesses are very inactive. I spent the first 3 months of this year handing out pamphlets and letterbox drops.
Wow.
And the irony is I had an English school. And my wife asked me to do something with that, and she decided she wanted to do a small vegetable retail outlet.
So this is in front of the school?
In front of the school,
the street,
that's correct.
Okay.
And I said, sure, we should bring a friend and get some information about that. And we'll find out where to go to from there. And he introduced us to his business, which is a farm.
Okay.
And I went out to a place called Tamba Sasayama, and I'm sure that people listening would know it. It's very famous for the black beans.
Yes, I've gone there to pick those.
Yeah, and they're quite delicious. And I went out to his farm, and he basically invited me to participate in his business of farming.
In what sense? So what would you be doing?
Well, we'll be sharing the land, and we'll be cultivating produce together and selling at our own individual shops.
So that's kind of issue. So you're a farmer. What would they call that? It's almost like a farmer's market.
Almost like a farmer's market, precisely. So because of that, this opportunity's come along. I've had to put the power washing cleaning business on halt and focus primarily on farming at the moment, as well as I'll be spending Wednesday evenings here in Nishinomiya Frente building teaching English.
Okay. So
and I hope some of those students are out there listening right now.
Yeah, sign up. So, I mean, it's really interesting because you've gone through a lot of businesses, it sounds. You came here, you had a wine bar.
Correct.
And then you English school, you had the power washing company, now you're doing the farming. You're kind of a businessman in a way.
Well, I'd like to be involved in my own destiny. So,
Yes.
I'm not a businessman, but I like to do businesses, yes.
Right.
Yes, and clearly I haven't been very successful at any of them yet.
I don't know. I'm sure your family would.
But I
agree
do
with that.
enjoy the challenge. It's a lot of fun.
So
indeed.
now let's talk about your Tamba Sasayama thing. What kind of produce are you planning to grow there?
Well, it's unlike most of the producers in that particular area, which they tend to primarily focus on one crop. So whether they're doing rice or they're doing the black beans or whatever. My friend and I were actually solely focusing on vegetables, but as many varieties of vegetables as we can possibly produce.
How big is this farm?
Well, I don't really know how to describe it in terms of size, but clearly it's big enough to grow 40 to 50 different ranges of vegetables.
Wow.
and sell primarily into private shops.
Do you have tractors and stuff?
There's 2 tractors. Yeah, there's 2 tractors.
How many? You must have dozens of people working there.
Nope, just myself and himself and his mother, actually. So there's only 3 people. My wife also helps me when we go out there and we have some fun. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's a great experience. It's a great learning experience. I'm 45 years old now, and can you believe I'm just starting to become a farmer? It's like how strange this world is that we live in.
From wine bar to farming, that seems like quite a leap.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So-
and it's been a whirlwind. This last 2 months has just been a whirlwind tour for me. I feel like a rock star the way things are going. It's really, really exciting.
So when do you start, I guess, harvesting your first crops?
Well, one of our main crops is jumbo garlic. Some people here will be familiar with that. Really big bulbs of garlic. They will be coming out of the ground in June.
Right.
But we should also get the stems that come out of the ground.
What do people do with the stems?
Well, they often use that for sautéing with pork or something along those lines. And they should be coming out of the ground this week.
Okay,
But
wow.
we've had a little bit of bad weather.
Yeah, that's the part that scares me about farming, is that you rely so much on the weather.
Well, when you've been in businesses and done many different businesses, you tend not to get scared. You kind of see the bigger picture and go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a risk associated with everything.
I'm not a farmer, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have the mentality or the character for that. But, no, so you got the garlic. What other kinds of things are you growing?
Well, there'll be, so I can tell you we've recently planted something close to your heart, actually, maybe the Halloween pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be growing those.
Oh, those are pretty uncommon here, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I have seen them in the years gone by, and I know they do sell them very, very expensively here, but not us. We'll be growing them and giving the kids something to look forward to. But we have, everything from onions, lots of different herbs, the tomatoes, of course, with carrots and cucumbers and, zucchinis. We've actually introduced a new zucchini from Sicily.
Wow.
And I'm absolutely 100% confident that nobody is growing those zucchinis in
peanuts?
Japan. Pardon?
How about peanuts?
And the peanuts are in the ground too. Yeah.
Do you think I can get a discount on
Yeah,
that?
you'll get some mates rates. Well, actually, one of the things we want to do with the peanuts this year, and maybe something to look forward to, is we're going to roast them, but we're also going to smoke them.
Okay. And sell them already smoked, you mean?
Smoked,
okay.
Yeah, we'll sell some of those smoked. I think they'll be
I think last
absolutely
year was the
delicious.
first time I've actually tried, I went to this little farm up towards Funisaka, and we, picked the peanuts out of the ground. But I've been used to the really dry, roasted peanuts.
Roasted and salty.
I didn't like these. They're kind of mushy. But after a while, I got used to it, and I really started to like it. So
Excellent.
I would love to try these smoked ones you're talking about.
Yeah, it's quite a unique flavour. And I'm similar to yourself. I don't like them soft and wet and steamed. I prefer them to be roasted as well.
Well, all I can say is that, it sounds like quite a venture. So good
Well,
luck.
it's gonna be a great
I hope
venture.
the weather cooperates.
Yeah, I think the biggest risk will be if, towards the end of the year, typhoons come along. That'll be a slight risk. But lots to look forward to.
Wow. Well, it's nice to see you're so excited about the future.
Yeah, I am.
You've been through quite a few businesses. So, sounds cool. Sounds really great.
Yeah,
and I would love to come visit you.
Great. And maybe you can stop by the vegetable shop when it's up and running. And
Actually,
we've got...
what you were talking about, the vegetables, the farm, it sounds like you'll have too much stuff to sell in the little spaces you have here.
There'll be a lot of things to sell, but obviously I will be harvesting the goods that we're selling. So, I'll only bring what I need,
Okay, we'll visit. We've got to somehow find out where you're going to be, and we'll come and get our vegetables from you.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, David.
A pleasure.
防災情報です。
During a disaster, it may be difficult to contact your family or friends using a mobile phone.
The disaster message board system has been set up as an alternative way to exchange emergency messages.
You use the system by dialing 171 on any phone and leaving a voice recording similar to an answering machine or voicemail. Each message can be up to 30 seconds in length with a maximum of about 20 messages.
This is a free service, but available only during times of disaster. It's a great way to let multiple people know how you're safe and where you're located, if you're staying at shelter, and so on.
Using the disaster message board system is pretty simple. First, dial 171 from any personal or public phone. Next, press 1 to record a message or 2 to listen to a message. Then enter a phone number, and we'll talk about this in a second. And lastly, record or listen to the message.
The phone number you enter can belong to the person you are trying to contact. Your number and your phone number that you and others have agreed to use during a disaster.
Now, it's a good idea to decide beforehand which phone number to use and make it a part of your family's disaster preparedness planning.
The disaster message board system is available for testing during disaster preparation drills. In our area, that's all day on the 1st and the 15th of each month.
This allows you to practice using the system, so please give it a try and record and listen to some test messages.
For more detailed information, do a web search for Disaster Message Board 171.
For consultation services or any other inquiries, please contact NIA at 0798 328680 or write an email to nia@nishi.or.jp.
COVID is still a serious health threat, so please continue to be careful and stay safe.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会でした。
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye bye.